Welcome back. For the first time in 12 years, Waterbury has a new mayor. Paul Pernerewski became the Brass City's 47th mayor earlier this month on December 1st. Mayor Pernerewski is joining us this morning. Mayor, thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations as you take office here. I want to start with the same thing I asked the new mayor in Hartford when I talked to him after Election Day. You spent the time meeting people, knocking on doors, campaigning. Now that you're in the office, do you feel like there was one consistent theme? Do you feel like you have marching orders on one thing you need to do now?
You know, the biggest issue, and thank you for having me, by the way. It's great to be with you all today. But I think the biggest issue that we faced in Waterbury when talking to voters was the question of crime. It's on everyone's mind. It affects everyone. And so people were concerned about it. So that's going to be a very large focus of ours in the upcoming term. In fact, I just spent 3 days in Indianapolis with our police chief at a violent crime reduction summit that was put on by the Department of Justice. We're talking to folks from other municipalities all across the country and trying to get some ideas on what things can help work to reduce that crime. And one of the things I took away from it is that Waterbury, no matter where you go in the country, the problems are the same that we're facing in Waterbury and throughout Connecticut. And the solutions are, similar as well. It's the community involvement, getting into the community, making sure that's part of the group that's working to solve the problems.
Do you worry both about the crime and the perception? Because obviously, probably the most notable recent incident happened at the mall, a place where people from your city, but also from surrounding communities frequent and visit. Does that change your response to it, that you not only obviously want to have a safe community, but you want to have people feel safe there?
Yes, I think perception is a big part of it. Waterbury is a safe city. Crime is an issue. For what affects most people in Waterbury are car thefts and those sorts of quality of life crimes. Violent crime is really right now limited to between people who know each other. It's not random. It tends to be folks who have some sort of a disagreement with each other, and they're settling it through violence, which often ends up in gunplay. But as long as the perception is there, it doesn't really make a difference, right? People are afraid to come into the city or they're concerned about it. So you've got to tackle the reality of it, but also the perception of it. And even what happened last Friday did happen at the mall, but it follows a similar pattern. It was a group of folks who knew each other, young men who knew each other, had some sort of pre-existing dispute. They ended up, as you know, with a fist fight to start with. And ultimately, one of them had a gun and pulled out the gun. And the rest is what happened. Now, we're fortunate on Friday, the victim of the shooting himself has survived, has been released from the hospital. The police were able to make an arrest today. We had a press conference this morning announcing that. So we'll go forward with that. And the bond has been issued at $1.5 million, which is a good bond. So we're starting to see some recognition of the issues that are out there on the recidivism. And we're very thankful that in a crowded mall in the middle of Christmas shopping season, that no one else was hurt, because that's always a concern that innocent bystanders can be hurt. And when you start bringing into places like the mall, it becomes a bigger problem.
Let's talk about some of your other priorities in the city. I know Mayor O'Leary, who your predecessor, had a big focus on things like brownfield development. Is that something that you intend to continue? And what are your other big focuses outside of crime?
Yeah, so, brownfields have been something that we tackled in Waterbury. A lot of people prior to Mayor O'Leary have been afraid to touch it because it can be a risky business, but he went forward with it. And in fact, at this point, Waterbury is recognized as a leader nationally in brownfield remediation, and that's because of the work of Neil O'Leary and so many other people. We've built great relationships with the folks we need to have them with in that area, federal, state partnerships, and I know those folks as well, and I intend to continue going. There's a number of brownfields left in Waterbury that still need to be cleaned up. We're bringing Animet's going back out to bid. Freight Street is just about demolished. By next year, should be good to go. Bristol Babcock Company, we just started taking over to get that cleaned up. There's a number of others. It's important that we get those down for a lot of reasons. One, you take Bristol Babcock particularly, it's an eyesore in the neighborhood. It's dangerous and it causes a lot of concerns. So just getting that down is going to make a lot of people in that neighborhood happy. But more importantly, those buildings were what drove Waterbury's prosperity 100 years ago, right through the 1960s and 70s. Now they've kind of dragged Waterbury down. But by cleaning them up and reusing them, I've see them driving Waterbury's prosperity again into the future. So we're going to continue on the brownfields. We're going to continue working on downtown. There's been investment in downtown that's going on. We have developers working right now on putting residential units on the top floor of many of our buildings down there. I think right now there's 33 apartments. They're all filled. There's a waiting list. By the end of next year, we should have another 120 apartments up and ready to go for people to move into. And so that'll put feet on the ground. And what you're going to see, I think, as well, is that that's going to drive the development of the retail stores on the ground level, restaurants and other kinds of retail stores. UConn has made a great commitment to Waterbury. The new director there has been very committed to the city, working hard to make Allied Health the premier program down here in downtown Waterbury. They're expanding. So I think with the students down there, they have some dorm rooms that are private, not UConn owned, but we're going to see that continue. We're going to continue to do that. Those kinds of feet coming downtown, bodies being downtown, are going to make a great difference down there as well. So in addition to economic development, we're looking at education. We've got a lot of work to do in education in Waterbury. We have a great system. We have great teachers, great administrators. We've spent a lot of money building community schools, K-8 community schools that are state-of-the-art buildings. And we have a lot of students who do well. Just earlier this morning, I was at Wilby High School for a holiday party. They have a culinary program there, and the students actually have a small restaurant that they run. You come in, they seat you at the table, they take your order, they bring you your food, they cook the food. And it was a great experience. The food was excellent. And the service was what you would expect in any top quality restaurant. So there's a lot of good happening in the schools, but we've got to really focus on some of those students who aren't fully succeeding. And we've got to find out what they need as far as support and resources. I think work much harder to get their families involved, which is a huge indicator of success in school. So those are some of the things that we're going to be focusing on in the upcoming year and the upcoming term.
Well, certainly it is clear as you sit in your new office that you have hit the ground running. You covered about 20 different things in one answer, and we appreciate that. And certainly a lot to work on and a lot to do. Listen, we appreciate you having you on here, and we're going to have you back again to talk more about it. Mayor Paul Pernerewski, welcome to the show, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, and I look forward to coming back soon. Thank you.